Hello there friends, my name isn't Alex, and I'm here today to talk about How to Train Your Dragon 3, The Hidden World. I do advise that you take into consideration that I grew up with these movies, so I may be partially biased. Well anyways, what did I think? Overall, this movie was incredibly well done. There was really only one thing that I wasn't a huge fan of, so let's get that put out of the way first. Oh, and before I forget, mild spoilers if you haven't seen the movie and want to go in completely blind. Okay, so the first and only thing that I would like to bring up regarding the negative aspects of this sequel is the villain, Grimmel the Grizzly. He was executed very poorly in my opinion. He seemed very similar at his core to a goofier weaselier version of Drago Bloodfist, the main antagonist of the second film. It felt like he didn't stick around for as long as he should have, and he should have had more of an impact. His death seemed very unceremonious, and I just felt like he could have made everything just a little bit harder for Hiccup and the rest of his dragon riding gang. Alright, that is literally everything negative I have to say about this movie. I mean, there are a couple little things here and there, but I'll get to those later. Now onto the good stuff. Cue little title card-y thing. So as I've said before, this movie was done very well. I don't think there was a part of it that I felt really bored during, and I was able to get pretty invested in the characters. Despite that, the stakes didn't feel super high during many points. It wasn't the best of the trilogy, but it was still an incredibly fun movie. I actually kind of feel bad for ratting on Grimmel so much. Looking back, he wasn't really that bad. I think I just felt kind of unsatisfied. It wasn't that he was a bad villain, while not being as strong as the first or second. This installment to the franchise had some of the most visually appealing sections. There were some very interesting shots, primarily in or around the hidden world. This was another small problem I had with the film. The makers of this movie seem to have put a lot of effort into the super rad punk rock bioluminescent looking hidden world, and they were just in and out in a few minutes. I get that the dragons just decided that Hiccup and Astrid weren't welcome, but it would have been cool to see our protagonists explore this foreign land. There were also some neat dragon designs featured in this movie. Of course, they aren't going to stick to me as much as when I first saw the monstrous nightmare from the first, or when I saw the ice-spitting bewildered beast from the second, but there were still some pretty cool original designs in here. You got Moose Boy, and Good Round Boy, and then you got Grimmel's Death Grippers, which for some reason instantly reminded me of the basilisks from Dark Souls. I don't quite know why. Maybe it's the pointy faces and black and reddish orange color scheme. Don't know what's up with that. Anyways, let's talk about the main selling point of this movie. Let's talk about Toothless's girlfriend. Alright, so I have to talk about this now. To be completely honest, I really didn't hate this weird little side plot. Granted, it definitely slowed down the action quite a bit, but I thought it was still pretty enjoyable. These scenes were a lot of fun because they featured little to no dialogue, so you got to see the two dragons communicating purely through grunts, growls, and overall body language. And that's pretty much everything I have to say about this section. I know I hyped it up a little more than it needed to be, with giving it its own tile card and such, but that's just how things go sometimes. I dunno. This really wasn't the main highlight of the film, but it was still quite fun. Anyways, that pretty much wraps up this video. Overall, I would rate this awesome finale to this beloved franchise a 8.5 out of 10. Definitely a great finisher to this series. Thank you so much for sticking around all the way through this absolutely abysmal attempt at a movie review. Tell me if you want to see more stuff like this in the future, and what I can do better. So yeah, subscribe. Or, you know, don't. That's okay too.
No! I don't want that!